Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the moon again. Because there's just some people that just don't get it. So we're going to try this route. Now, this is my Facebook group, Catfish Glass Eye, where we talk about a lot of things going on. It's a little bit different group. We're more about teaching people instead of just spewing information out there, dispelling even channels to stay away from, because the truth is up to a very huge opposition. So we gotta try things in different ways to get the information out so people understand it, how important this is. The moon, it's undeniable, and it shouldn't be turning like a clock. And you can see right here in this graphic from my friend James Pickett from Darwin, Australia. As you can see here, he's captured a southern hemisphere moon rolling like a clock, turning like doing cartwheels, however you want to talk about it. But as you can see, the moon's doing it. Here in the group, it's the first thing people see when they come in, because it's very, very important to give us the basis to understand what is going on. And you can look at all the other YouTube channels or Facebook groups or anyone talking about Nibiru or other similar topics. None of them talk about the moon. They'll all deny it or ignore it. Make videos about you for talking about it. That's happened to me. So there are a lot of channels out there that will not talk about this, because you can't forget about it once you've seen it. All right, so Eric and I was talking, and we did some Google searches, and on different platforms, Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo. Basically, we did some searches, and if you do a simple search on Google, why is the moon cartwheeling? Your results that come up when you search that are right here from Google. And believe it or not, this is my video on BitChute. This guy here is the guy that doesn't get it, how easy it is to understand, but he's whining about it. And you continue on down through the search, and there's nothing about the moon doing a cartwheel. So if it was supposed to do it, don't you think Google would, in all their 2.5 million search results here, would have something? Well, let's go over to videos. The first video you'll find is one of my videos, one of my first videos. This is a guy who's documented the moon turning like a clock too. It's a northern hemisphere video, because the moon's turning clockwise. So you can watch his timestamp: 1618, 1636, 17. He is turned clockwise. And this is how you should document it. And you see it. Anyways, people are noticing it. But do you see anything in here about the moon doing cartwheels besides me or Eric's video? This is Eric's video. This is the BBC guy talking about northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere views and why they're different. All right, so same question on DuckDuckGo. Why is the moon cartwheeling? Well, cartwheel in the Cambridge Dictionary. Then you got my video again. Cartwheeling light. NASA, why the moon? Overview of Earth's moon. Why moon phases occur. Cartwheel. Why is the moon important? Let's go over here to videos. First two are, this is my video and this is Eric's video. But look at the other videos on here. None of them talk about the moon turning like a clock or cartwheeling. Bing. The moon is turning like a clock. Why is the moon turning? Sorry guys. Why is the moon cartwheeling? Same question. You'll notice, you'll see my video again. Cartwheeling light, misconceptions about the moon. Let's see what that is. Uh, its conception, phases. The moon goes around the Earth in a single day. No, 27 days to do that. The moon makes its own light. It's, you know, here we go. Nothing about the moon turning like a clock or cartwheeling. So we changed up the search a bit. Why is the moon turning like a clock? Back on Google. Rotation, moon's face. Obviously, it isn't orbiting quickly. Blah blah blah. Same thing. Doesn't say anything about the moon cartwheeling. Video suggestions. My other video. Moon phases. Why the moon turns red. Why we see the moon overhead. It appears to be rotating. Let's check that out. Over the course of the year, 27 days. I'm not sure. I may have to look into that, but again, that's people probably noticing the moon turning like a clock. Let's continue down. Why does the moon turn red? A lot of master clock or sundial clock results in here too. Go over to videos. Moon phase watch, clocks, extra second, lunar phase. Nothing about the moon turning like a clock. Yeah, we know the moon's different at the equator. We're figuring that out right now as we speak. James is helping me with that. DuckDuckGo, same search results. Grandfather clocks. What is the moon thing supposed to do on my clock dial? Does the moon rotate? Yes, on its axis. Videos. I mean, if this is supposed to happen, where's the search results? My 2 videos again. Eric and I, we own search engine optimization on Google, Bing, and DuckDuckGo for those topics. Companies pay thousands of dollars to get the first listing, the first search result, and we got it for free. Alright. Then I went on to just DuckDuckGo because that's what I like. Should the moon roll like a clock? Grandfather clock, moon phase of the moon dial, grandfather clocks, moon dial, clock dial. You know, this is something that should be pretty visible if it's supposed to happen. I don't see anything. First result is moon rock joint. How to roll a joint. So obviously nothing's there. Okay. So just like Eric's been talking about for weeks and months and years, and actually years, the moon is not supposed to do that. So, and for those of you who don't know of Eric, he's actually posted a video today for $1,000 challenge for someone to bring a NASA link that says the moon is supposed to rise, wax, and set wane. Do 180 degrees in one night, which is doing. Yeah, I think his money's pretty safe. Alright, so we covered that. Alright, now we are going to go on to ISWA. Now I have lots of people talk about this. I don't think they're near the kind of detail that I talk about it in, besides Eric, of course. There are others that give the basics, and I don't know answers, but here we have been talking about this IMF signal. First of all, I know I got to throw the basics in. This is looking at Earth from the side, view of the side. This is the equator. North Pole is up here, South Pole down here. This is Earth. Sun's energy comes from the right over here and goes towards. This is the Earth right here. This black area shows it's an area that the satellites ignore. So, and there are satellites here that are traveling around the Earth in a magnetometer. This is like a ferrocell, and it's detecting Earth's magnetic field. Bow-shock, magnetopause, same thing. Polar cap lines are the black ones. They come out of the pole. the poles of the Earth, North Pole, South Pole. Closed field lines are these red lines here. I've explained in other videos why they're there. There should be a few. This is about normal for closed because you have an energy field here, so the field lines would close, and you've got an energy field here from the pole cap, so they should have a couple closed lines here. Blue IMF. I know this is a repetition for a lot of people, but others don't know. IMF means interplanetary magnetic field lines, and why this is important is it means it's not connected to Earth in any way, magnetically or electrically in any way. Satellite-based information. We know they're using GOES 15 and 16, or is it 16 and 17 now? That's taken over the job for 13 and 14. 14's been commissioned as something else. They just haven't updated the key. You can learn how to measure the distance back to an object you see on here. Like, for example, here, the beginning of this signature, let's just say -60. The scale is RE, Earth radii, which is 3,963. So 3,963 times 60 will give you the miles from 0 on the scale, the center of Earth, back to here in miles. That's roughly about lunar orbit, 276,000 miles from Earth behind. Okay, so now we've been talking about magnetic chains, all kinds of information, and that's where you need to go to Scientifically to learn that. And you can learn that from Scientifically how to read this better, because you're looking at a ferrocell. He explains every part of it, how the magnetic field is truly, rather than the lie we're taught in school and everywhere else, and even on Google still, even though this invention of the ferrocell's been out for 10 years. Anyways, we're talking about magnetic chains, and what you'll see here is Earth is drawing energy from this energy field called our bow shock, drawing it in to the equator. They don't go in the poles. It's not how a magnet works. They go in at the equator or the plane. I'm having a accretion disk error, calls it brain farting on that right now. Inertial planes. There you go. There's two of them on a magnet, a vertical and a horizontal. So the pattern I've been seeing is, in what's been going on, is this would happen much slower. You know, times between events would be a day apart or several days apart before we'd see this. But now we're looking at 2 to 4 hours apart now, and it's cyclic, and it's very defined in the sense of, and it does change some, and there's data gaps in here, especially today. This is from yesterday. So, and I'm going to show you, and you'll learn by how this color coding these field lines what it means. That's why they're color coded and they have different definitions, because it's important. Now I've got about 18 hours of data in here, 300 frames, which is pretty simple. You just come to the drop down here. You can change your date and time. If you want a longer video, you just increase the frames. I usually do 100, but I did 300 to give some length and some pattern. You can see it. I don't mess with frames per second. You can increase these numbers. That's great. And of course, you can move around time. So we got 18 hours here, starting from July 31st, just after midnight UTC time, all the way out to the 31st at 1857. So about 18 hours. Lots of things happen here. I know this may get a long-winded video, but I don't care. This is a learning, teaching video as well. So here we go. This is as the sun solar wind passes by, and you saw a little wave there. It's no big deal. Nothing major. Nothing we don't see all the time. And this area is here. But if you watch, lots of things change and happen here. I'm just backing up again. We're going to start all over. Now we got more closed field lines. That energy wave came in, but that's not an issue. Right here, you saw that. Yes, more closed field lines. They happen for a reason. We've explained that. The Earth is drawing in from the bow shock right here. This is induction heating. Drawing in, adding electricity to the magnet makes it more powerful, more energy. And we know energy comes in through the equator and leaves through the equator out the back to push. That's pushing against other magnets, planets, moons, things that are magnetic. Not comets, not asteroids, not the moon. Magnets. Okay, continue on. Now we went from red to black, and we even have some blue in here. Red is Earth pushing. Black means it's connected to Earth through the cap lines. Blue means not connected to Earth in any way. So what we have here is Earth connected to it through the black polar cap, and the IMF is wrapped in here too. So that's probably reading that this object that's back here, this planet, magnet, is also connecting to it at the same time. And there you go. There's a good, pretty clear signature of what we're talking about here. This blue IMF lines. Magnetic field lines. Interplanetary magnetic field lines. It should not be there. We're going to continue forward. And you can see it's there. And there we go. We got Earth pushing again with some blue IMF activity up here. This is another field interacting with us. With Earth's field. That's why the IMF is crazy. But this is not connected to us. But it's here. Has to come from another source. Continuing. Again, Earth is pushing against another magnet and then turns around and connects to it. We're outside that field. No, we got black inside, so it's connected. Back to the blue. I'm just going to call the IMF blue signature in the back blue for simplicity. Moves forward, and it's a battle. It's two magnets pushing against each other, battling, saying, no, we got the same polarities. We cannot touch. They must push apart. A big push again. See, this used to be spread apart. Days on end, from days apart, a week apart. Then it's slowly down to days apart. Now it's hours apart. And this has been the slow train wreck from the beginning. This is how it's increasing itself. And as these pulses increase, as the compression continues, something's going to give. And, magnets, what happens when you push two magnets together of the same polarity? They're going to jump eventually. Once you push too hard, push out. So things are going to shift. So as these events become closer together and more frequent, this information is telling you what is going on out there. This is not... I'm still trying to find... I'm going to speed this up with the mouse. You can use your keyboard. Here we go. Here's a good... As you can see, Earth is pushing against, and then came in as the pushes expanded outside the object, the other magnet. Earth then connected to it inside, like inside the bubble. So this shouldn't be happening because this shouldn't be here if there's nothing there. And this isn't because Earth is round and eddy currents or magnets don't behave this way unless there's a reason. Pretty good shot of blue back there. And again. And we're going to come up to a very interesting thing here in a second. Right there. Now, this is the more explosive phenomena of this. You would have had higher wind speeds, and we're going to get to the other the solar wind tool through this. You know, some people say these come from the sun, but here's a great example right here in the beginning of this event. That where's the influence from the sun side? It's not here. You have closed field lines connecting directly to Earth. Here's your satellite. It's inside that. It's reading it. So the solar wind, we'll see an increase of wind, probably from the ambient wind of probably 300 to 400 kilometers per second to up to 800. But this came from Earth. And this is the source of the energy right here. Induction heating to the core. The energy flows through the core and back out the back. But this is explosive. This is a big push. Not huge, it's not the biggest. This is just pretty big. And we even have our blue IMF here pointing at it. So it's not just an anomaly. We've got several verifications of pressure changes, closed field lines around it, field lines isolated, blue IMF pushing or pointing, and then it'll push on out the back. So we'll go over a quick scan of it. 18 hours. Push, moves back, push, blows back, push, push, and then let's get the big push. Much faster velocity. Alright. Solar wind. Back at the beginning. Well, you know, again, the sun side is over here. This is the sun's wind. Going around the bow shock. You know, this is the first frame, and this is a great frame. I mean, this shouldn't be happening at all. It should all just be one flow. But yet we have this perpetual inflow around the Earth. It's always there now. And then we have a lot of confusion here because there's an object sitting here. And we've shown the other objects in the back before. And we know there's something back here. We just don't have the visibility out front to say what's going on out there. Now your wind speed is here, kilometers per second, 380. Same time frames. And you can see how things change. Like water flowing over other objects, multiple rocks in the stream, so the current changes around. Well, if there was only one rock, then why? Why all these? Well, we know why, but they shouldn't be doing this. It should all be facing one direction. Now here is your big explosive push. 1,241 kilometers per second. That's a simple one to solve. KM I don't care, it'll still work. Oh, this is so simple. Kilometers per second, KPS. That was 1241. I usually use... Oh, that's why. So 2 points... Yeah. Over 2,700,000 miles per hour. That didn't come from the sun. It came from Earth. So how you know, if it's not coming from the sun, how is it coming from the Earth? Well, I've already explained that. It came. Come on now. from here. Let's go from Earth. Magnetics tells you. Now, scientifically, if you want to learn, you could just want to learn that tool and come here to Scientifically in the playlists. He's got 2 playlists that are recommended. The motion of everything a field defined. You just start with this first video. It's 20 minutes long. It's going to change your whole view on the Earth. It's on nature, physics, the world, the universe, everything. And then magnetic fields in motion. Especially pay attention to the ones where he's got, like you can see here, he's got the pen and paper out and he's drawing things. Those just tie in everything so nicely. You get those aha moments. And of course we talked about Angry Catfish Briggs, and that I highly suggest you go to his channel to learn even more than because my video is about what he's learned and my research along with it. And obviously I'm saying the same things because I've found the same things. So that's what you need to do. And he has a Facebook page, and I will definitely put that in the links, but I've got it pretty close here. This is his Facebook, but it's important you pay attention here to the pink logo. There is a troll, Five Eyes troll, that uses the same name on Facebook and YouTube, but he uses a black avatar with a white cloud or something. You want to stay away from that guy because he's bullshit. So Eric Briggs, Catfish Briggs, is the guy you want. He's the guy that's trying to save your ass, and I'm trying to help him save your ass. So everyone, enjoy your Saturday evening. And I highly suggest you take Eric's video here and tell your buddy, let's make $500 a piece and try to prove him wrong, and we'll end up planting the seed in your buddy's mind that, hey, there is something wrong here, that we can't prove that wrong because he's correct. Because everyone can go outside and look at the moon without any kind of equipment. Look at it twice, 3, 4 hours, 5, 6 hours, 8 hours, it doesn't matter. And it will have turned like a clock, clockwise in the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. Oh, I almost forgot. James, my boy James, he got me pictures of Jupiter turning like a clock because it's on the same ecliptic plane as the moon, so it's turning as well. All right, so we got Jupiter at 7:15 p.m. on the July 22nd. Sorry, July 29th. I guess he's got a typo in here, but he's got the other timestamps anyways. So Jupiter and some of its moons, and then at 12. Let me try to get these squared away for you. There we go. So it isn't the moon. It's everything on the ecliptic plane. The sun is doing it. Jupiter's doing it. Saturn's doing it. We're working on Saturn, and we're working on getting the sun. We got Jupiter here. We've got the moon. There's no denying it. I don't care what anybody says. You can't. We have all the evidence that 7 billion people on the planet can see. So I'm going to leave you with Jupiter and its moons turning like a clock. Have a good day.